Daddy Tax Happy Hour. Dig.
Oh my God, Justin, it's raining. It's just raining all day and it's in the mid 60s and I couldn't be happier. It's like the official beginning of, I don't think we're in fall yet, but not summer. It's officially not summer.
Summer has broken.
Yes.
Right. You're no longer in the oppressive heat wave. Now it is that lovely autumn.
That oppressive Seattle wave.
Well, yeah, because you get the rain bad out there in the opening stages of hill country, right?
Well, we get waves of it, but like there have been years in the past where we went 100 days in a row of over 100 degrees a few years back, and just
good God.
Every single day was not a cloud in the sky, no wind in the air, just still and stale, and it was just awful. And but now it's 66 degrees and it's doing that drizzly thing, and there's moss on the ground, and it's to me it feels like I get to teleport briefly to Seattle, or if I imagine it 20 degrees colder, back to Norway or whatever. But I love this weather. It gets me all nostalgic.
Can I just say, you are having an exceptional hair day. You have been obviously very fascinated with your elongated hair for the last couple months, but it just hit a length that I think like really sells it, because it doesn't maybe it's just the lack of the humidity, or it is the temperature or the moisture or whatever, but it's laying a lot longer, so It doesn't look like it's like curving up over your ear at the top of your ear. It's like hanging kind of down to the middle of it.
Let me zoom in on this so we can deconstruct
it. That's the best I've seen it look.
There's something about like the alchemy seems to be, I can never make it look good the day I wash it, but the day after I wash it, it tends to look pretty good. And then there's some amount of hat wearing that straightens everything out, but doesn't make it all super flat. But and also the lighting here is obviously designed to be flattering. But
well, no, but it was the same on the other side too. Just a good look. It looks like you're a guy who is very comfortable being the long hair guy, if that makes any sense.
And what's funny is I don't know how comfortable I am. I keep looking, and I was just like, how much longer can I do this? How much longer until I gotta go?
Now I feel like now you should extend that lease. Like now you've got it going on. I feel like before it was a little higher, and it was like I could tell for you're like, oh my God, this long hair is amazing. But it's like, it wasn't really that long. It was kind of like
I'm hoping to
boy model in 98, like that length, like, just like Jonathan Taylor Thomas kind of like, but now you're at like, oh man, is Brian hack computers?
I don't know.
That hair says maybe.
I still have a little bit to go if I'm going to hit that the Sawyer from Lost length, which is the goal. Like I want to make it that far.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a realistic beauty standard for you. I feel like
I could just drill a couple of dimples into my face.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's one of those things where that's a slippery slope for men of a certain age,
anyone
and
pushing.
And next thing you know,
anyone pushing 50.
But I mean, if me and you really get into that, like we're both going to be about 10 years away from looking like weird plastic people, because we're like, oh, very close, very close.
Well, I'm glad today's a good day regardless.
No, it looks excellent. I think maybe your whole vibe right now, with like the glasses and the hoodie and the
it's because it's cold out.
The length.
It's cold out, and I'm getting to wear like actual shoes and more. I mean, that oppressive heat, man, it's oppressive and impressive in its oppressivity. Hey,
Yeah, we're
oh.
actually I wonder what it is. I forget whether we're past our heat wave here or if we're about to hit it.
So I didn't realize until we talked about it on Weird Things that it was a mystery what car you got. So I'm glad I haven't said anything in public.
Brian,
are you ready?
No idea how much I thought, what's the best way for Brian not to spoil what the car is? Because I knew that like one sure way to make sure it happens is to tell you not to say it.
Yeah.
Because then you'd want to talk about it,
and it would be all I could think about. Yeah.
And so it'd be all you could think about, and then you would either say it or you would hint around it enough that everybody would know what it is. And so then I'm like, all right, we're just gonna let it ride.
You're just gonna tell him and act like it's no big deal. You're just gonna act cool around that dog, and then the dog won't even occur to the dog to start barking.
I'm just gonna let that cat enjoy that breeze, and we'll just go from there. Maybe we can reveal it here.
You think?
Maybe we can.
Well, I don't know.
Well, the question
we can also hold off if it's not done.
Well, we don't have it. That's the only. We would have driven it off the lot, but it had not been inspected because apparently these things are like moving, and so it's like for whatever car dealership bullshit. And let me just say this. Actually, here we'll fill in whatever revelation by me bitching about how fucking annoyed I was at buying a car. God, dude,
oh my God. No, dude. So it sounds like you did not have the same kind of experience I had buying my used Jeep, where I just ran down there and was like, here, take my car. Here's a check. Bye. And then
oh my God. No, I did not have that. I had the full like bring you in and the no like. It's just when all the money conversations are always them talking about what my monthly fee is going to be. Ugh. And not like how much it is. And I keep having to like try to push them back to be like, wait, hold on. How much are we at right now? And then like, I'm pretty sure we got scammed in some fucking like magician's choice shit where they like put 4 things on a list. And then we're like, 2 of these things we can't take out. And I was like, okay.
It's like, pick a number between 1 and 6. And you say 4. He goes, great. Let's spell it out. F-O-U-R.
Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, well, can we take that out? No. Can we take that out? No. And I don't know whether or not, like, I was like, no, I don't want any of this shit. Or if they were like, oops, like, you just guessed wrong on our 2 battleship map. Like, you know, like no impact. Ha, we get you, charge you another $6,000 for like, you know, putting fucking gold coins in the wheel well or whatever.
So are you doing some kind of financing thing? Because they get a lot trickier on that side.
We are doing a financing thing because we got a good rate for it. So it's like we looked up like the rates, and one of the people that a friend of ours that was talking to us about it was like, hey, look, if you actually want to be adults, despite the fact that we could buy it, if not close to outright, like pretty much like we could have financed it for like, you know, bullshit. But our friend is like, hey, look, if you're talking about that amount of money, what you really should do, since you guys don't really have a diversified portfolio, this is a segment I like to call adulting
with golden and gray hair.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Golden gray.
Golden
we
gray.
Should have golden gray.
Well,
welcome to golden gray. Golden. We need to do something with golden gray.
There's something
golden
there.
Gray
There's something
pretty
there.
Fucking good. if we ever
the
transition
irony is
away
my
from,
name will be Gray and you'll be Gold.
Exactly. They're like, hello, I'm Lewis Gray and I'm Mortimer Gold.
I'm Andrew Gold.
So no, a friend of ours is like, look, if you're talking about that amount of money, what you should be doing is put that amount in the market and where you're going to be making more.
And
it's
do
effectively free
and,
money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is actually a way that you can have.
And I know they're right. I know they're right, but it's like I close my eyes and I can't imagine that the savings are more than $1,000. And it's like, I'm just like, I pay $1,000 to not be thinking about this and not pay a bill every single month.
I'm with you. And I cannot guarantee that I won't just snap at some point and pay this fucker. I'm like, look, I'm going to try. I'm trying to be the shepherd here. But I'm with you. I'm like, look, I catch the fat end of when Patreon dumps the money into my fucking PayPal, and I'm like, yo, what's your Venmo, bitch? Like, I will Venmo you this fucking vehicle, this brand new vehicle right now, because I would rather not think about it at all.
Yeah.
Or well, no, I'll just put it on my.
Definitely relate.
I definitely put a ridiculous amount of money for the down payment on a Amex yesterday, which was a fun thing to just be like more money than I've ever seen.
Five figures? Do you just throw 5 figures on the Amex?
We just tossed a little 5 figures on the old Amex.
It's weird when you find yourself writing a check and there's one more zero than you expected than you've ever written before.
And then it's also funny because we go into this back room. Let me just say this. I did not expect the process of putting a down payment on a car to be very similar to when my friend ran up too much of a bill at a titty bar. We all had to go back in and cover the tab for him. Like, it was like the same back room, except now it's COVID. So there's like a divider on there. And he's like,
so it's even more like an illicit casino where somebody's buying bulletproof glass.
and he's like, okay, it's this amount of money. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, all right. And I hand him my credit card and he runs it through the same shitty plastic, like the one that
the same one they use at Chick-fil-A is
no, Chick-fil-A at least has Apple Pay. I would have loved to do it with Apple Pay.
Use just your watch. That'd be amazing.
But no, the back room, I almost did the walkout, the 11th hour walkout with
just because it was such a pain in the ass.
I don't know where there is incompetence and where there is chicanery, but at a certain point, the guy who was very nice that was walking us through everything is like, we're like, hey, what's your best rate? And he's like, well, we actually have this special thing. It's 0. And we're like, okay, for how long? And he's like, the life of the loan. And I'm like, okay, that seems like it's not a thing, but whatever, brother. Like, let's go through this thing. And
all you have to do is pay double the cost. Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, well, actually it's 1.9. And I'm like, well, you want to know what? When we were looking out, like, and I was doing all the research and everything, 1.9 was actually like the lowest of publicly available rate that, like, so like that's about where we would do it anyway. So fucking whatever. Then we get to the back and the guy's like, so it's going to be a loan at this amount of months, a full year longer than what we had agreed to, and at 2.9. And I was like, no, fuck this. Like, absolutely. Like that's not what we agreed to. That's not what I don't know who's dumb. I don't know who's trying to pull one over on us, but like, look, I don't like where this is going. And then he started backpedaling. And then he's like, well, it was just sorry, I didn't know. And he's pulling out charts to show that he's not lying. And I'm like, look, I don't care where like you're doing the thing. Like you and this other guy can work it out at the holiday party. Like I just put the thing where we wanted the thing. So we like at least know. I just don't like the fact that like, I know that we're back here. So you can try to sell us the like extra deluxe package where you're gonna blow us kisses every 4 minutes if we only pay another $2,000. But like, I don't want that shit. I told you I didn't want that shit, and now you're fucking with the deal here. And so I was doing the like yeah, and then he's like whoa, and so that was that. But I hated it.
Man, it's pretty fun when you pay full cash for things and you can do weird shit like write a physical check for less than the amount and put it in their hands and just say, you can take it, you leave it. Yeah. and then just watch them like, let me talk to the manager. But
to do it again, if it weren't for the fact that we kind of had gotten sold on this idea of doing the like being better, like this is like a lifestyle, a money lifestyle. Let's do
being more
thing.
precise about your allocations and have your money work for you and all that. Which, by the way,
also,
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going
to
to say. By the way, good time to do it. I woke up today, bit surprised by the Axios headline of "The recession is over." Like, did you see that?
Yeah, there's, I mean, for the market already erased everything that it went over. And well, yeah, I guess now
it's
funny. I mean, but also it's super weird though, because like we've never turned the economy off before. Like we've never just said like, we'll see you and have a fun summer, everybody. Like, bread and water summer. Stay skating around. It's hot pants and no food, and nobody knows where the economy's going. Bread and water summer. Ooh, like, and then we turn it back on. It's like, oh, the economy's back. It's fall.
But I guess what happened is first of all, I believe the literal definition of a recession is 2 quarters in a row of a down market. Yeah. And nobody wanted to wait 2 whole quarters because everybody was an expert that the world's biggest drop in a single quarter, clearly we're in a recession. So everybody started using the word recession. And then, so we had a single quarter of the biggest drop in history. And then we had a single quarter of the biggest rise in history. So I guess either A, there never was a recession, or B, it's there was one, and it was the shortest one ever, and now we're back.
Well, no, it's just like, why don't we not use the word that we use for the other thing? It's like, well, I don't know. Like, am I single, or did my wife get hit by a car and die?
Why don't we accurately say what things are?
Just, yeah. How about we have no idea? We've never turned the economy off before. How about that? A lot of people are out of work. A lot of people need money. Like, there's a lot of things that are happening that don't normally happen. Maybe it's going to come back. We hope. Like, we think.
Cancer is defined by a giant tumor of malformed tissue. Well, you seem real skeletal, so we'll just say you have cancer.
Yeah.
And then a month later, we'll go like, oh, your cancer is gone because you don't have a tumor. Turns out you're anorexic.
Yeah.
And even that would be more accurate because it was like an intentional decision to, as you put it, put a bullet in the head of the bull economy.
Yeah, and we hope it comes back, and it looks like at least a portion of it is coming back. Yeah, man, it's I don't know. Who knows? And this whole thing, this whole weekend was just nuts with the politics stuff and everything.
Oh, that's right. Notorious RBG passed away over the weekend.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
60% drop
she's
followed by 60% gain does not mean that it's back to even. I mean, again, congratulations. Welcome to Golden Gray's economic forecast. We're upgrading it from we don't fucking know to good. That's our official Golden Gray economic forecast. Here's the news. Take it as far and wide. We are upgrading from we don't fucking know to good ?
Oh man. There was somebody said bit weird. What is it weird that they're laying Ruth Bader Ginsburg in state at the that seems more like a Soviet Union thing to do than an America thing to do.
Well, we just did it for John Lewis. I think you want to know what it is. It's people who lived in Washington for a really long time.
Yeah,
that's a yeah. So in that case, yeah, it does seem a little Politburo-y, like where it's like if you're connected enough, then you get the thing. But I think once you have like, George H.W. Bush and then John McCain and then John Lewis and everybody gets the lay in state thing. I think for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I mean, I don't know and let's
that all just
begin our conversation. But let's begin our conversation
utmost
with
respect.
Icon, legend.
Yes.
She deserved the cult of personality, which rose up around her. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it does happen. I mean, it's happened, like I said, just 4 times in the last 2 years, really.
Yeah, I don't like it. Bodies should be immediately burned. I subscribe to the Klingon credo of it's an empty husk, make it go away.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's
possibly
that's
don't even wait till the heart stops beating. Just when you know it's about to happen, just throw them in the fire.
Boy, Brian, you got to be a real fun guy to nap around. Well, I guess they did it with Scalia. Like, yeah, I mean, considering everything else that's happening around it, I'm whatever. Let's build a theme park for RBG. Like, yes. If that will make everybody a little less screamy and yelly.
Ride the double dueling fallopian tubes.
On the basis of fun. Yeah, just crazy. Just a crazy weekend, and the whole election is different now. It's nuts.
There was some, we I guess we also per our usual form, there's got to be some kind of coronavirus talk. We crossed that 200,000 threshold. That's let me do a little back of the envelope calculations here. Yep, it's 4 Vietnams. It's hold on.
I don't like that. I don't like the war comparisons. Because they're totally different. To me, it's exactly the same thing as the cancer versus anorexia thing.
Yeah,
where we're not describing.
But we can't do 9/11s though, right? Because it's like 17 9/11s.
Made it 10 days. we let it sit for 10 days.
Right.
10 days.
And we're done with it. We're done with
it. No, I mean, you can really only compare it to other pandemics. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, so it's only 0.2. It's 2/3 of a Spanish flu, I believe.
Yeah, we're a little under 2/3 of a Spanish flu, and so it's like
we're not quite to an AIDS yet, by a lot.
We're not to it. No, but AIDS had a much longer burn.
Yeah, but also, like, I don't even think we hit the
Spanish flu
the
really went
rate.
like, what, 3 years?
I don't know. I know that AIDS its daily burn rate, I believe, is at one point was still faster than anything we've seen yet.
Really?
Yeah, here, let me.
Man, I gotta do my AIDS research because that's wild. Because all that meant that like a coronavirus death toll was happening like in L.A., New York, and San Francisco. Like it was like it was just like in 3 epicenters. That's insane.
Let me see. Visualization. Somebody might be able to find it on Data is Beautiful on Reddit. Um, there was some graphic that depicted each pandemic as like a big poofy ball, which was a weird choice. But it did a really good job of letting you see, which ones were biggest and scariest and whatever. Visualization, coronavirus. Oh, there's going to be a million of these. Never mind. Forget it. Shouldn't even try.
Yeah, now this is a great thing for a comedy show is we're looking at AIDS death rates.
Hey, man, this ain't a comedy show. This is Golden Gray, where we give financial advice.
Golden Gray, Golden Gray.
If somebody finds it, then throw it in the chat otherwise.
Information would you like today?
I went back and watched the first season of The Boys with Josie, just to kind of feel out like could she do this? And The Boys is weird because
there's stuff that I forgot about in the first season of The Boys. Like I can't believe you watched that with Josie. There's some heavy stuff.
I believe we tapped out just before the heaviest of stuff. I mean, outside of the liquefying of the girl in the first 5 minutes, whatever. There's definitely the butt crushing of the skull, but that's one where I called it out beforehand, and so she kept her eyes closed. But then you get in all that milk fetish stuff, and it's like, and that we didn't make it to there. I think Josie's seen just about all she's gonna see of The Boys.
It's a good put that in a nice aged box and let her open that sometime down the road.
That's what I figured. That's what I figured. We did make it to the baby scene, which is hands down the best scene of the entire first season.
Yeah, the scene that got me that I had forgotten about was when the Deep is in Sandusky and gets like awed by the groupie.
The Deep does?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I haven't gotten there. So we dodged that. We dodged that.
She's like really into his gills, and then he doesn't want her to like diddle his gills.
Yeah, no, because he's he's ashamed of those. Okay. So I think episode 5 was a good place to tap out. Yeah.
You are definitely doing the double black diamond of like, there's not a lot. Like, I don't know what goes on in your mind where you're like, absolutely not. That I can't show to Josie. Like, where on the line, like, what is on the other side of that line if The Boys is like, let's see.
Well, I mean, all we got in The Boys... All we got.
I mean, that's why. So what's on the other, like...
I don't know. Bonnie doesn't like it either. She thinks like, I mean, it's gambling. I'm just gambling. I'm a gambling addict. I never know whether or not I'll regret it or not or what. But I mean, she's almost 13 now, so I'd seen. And you know what? The Boys is surprisingly shy on the graphic nudity. When I think of movies that we watched in the 80s and early 90s, there was a lot more graphic nudity than there is now. There's a lot more implied sexual activity and disturbing, deviant activity. Or, I don't know, deviant maybe implies a level of judgment that I don't really feel, but like very little on screen, straight up boobies and bush shots, like Man,
I
the
think-
early
I think-
80s PG movies had full-on naked bush. It was crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean that was pre PG-13, and R didn't exist yet, right? Like it was just X.
No. R was around, yeah.
R was around. Okay.
Yeah. And in fact,
yeah,
X used to be kind of respectable. People would, where
Well,
else were
X-
you going to see
yeah,
any of that?
yeah. I think that there was a point in the 80s where it was like being able to see titties without getting a Playboy or getting pornography or something like that was like, oh, moving titties. Who knew? Like what a crazy concept. And so I think those movies had a lot more gratuitous nudity. Like there was like
Your Revenge
oh,
of the
this
Nerds
is-
or whatever, where it's like, it's a rollicking comedy. Also, you don't get to see this very often. And there
Yeah.
it is.
It's like Kevin Smith is talking about when he was making Mallrats, and he's like, oh, like we want you to make the Porkies of the modern era, and like that's the thing about Porkies is like all these wacky characters, and then at some point, Joey Lauren
Titty
Adams,
flops
she's
out.
gonna show her tits, like, and they have like a very gratuitous shot of like her like putting on clothes in a changing room, and then like Silent Bob comes like flying through the wall or whatever. But I think that was a relic of a bygone era that now in a world where like pornography is like ubiquitous,
Right.
specifically
Is
compared
literally
to
in
where it
everybody's
was.
pocket right now.
Yeah, then it's like, oh,
You're
okay,
all
well,
carrying it right now. Pornography.
no one's
carrying it.
watching. Yeah, no one's watching The Boys to jack it.
Right.
Like, whereas you might have been watching Porky's to jacket.
You might have pressed pause on Cannonball Run 2 on your Betamax
Yeah.
copy so that you could just
Yeah.
sort of gawk at them titties.
Yeah. Whereas I don't know if that exists unless it's something that's like a very sexy show. But even then, it's like
Even then, it's more implied like sexual dynamics than necessarily gawking at body parts or whatever.
yeah, there's definitely there's a lot more fucking than there used to be. There's a lot more people humping. There's a lot more grunting. You spend a lot more time with those scenes.
Yep.
But they're not necessarily like about showing off. Like there's gratuitous fucking scenes that don't involve boobs or penises or vaginas.
What other body parts do they not involve?
I mean, belly buttons? No, there's
Thighs.
usually they show a belly button.
Cheesecakes.
Eyes, cheesecakes.
Yeah, the upper thighs.
Oh, is that what that is?
Josie's calling me. I'm gonna.
Oh,
I hope
wow.
she's not
This just
watching.
only got more awkward.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let that go to voicemail. Good news.
Yeah.
Good news. Bad news.
Okay, good.
Bonnie, not thrilled with the name of the dog. Penny thinks it's hilarious. The full name: Joyful Federal Agent Bryce Doug Neshcom Castillo Brushwood. Joseph Penny is like, mwah, it's done. A fait accompli. Bonnie, less thrilled with that name.
What's funny is that like there is now like a meme of new inhabitants to your family get middle named by Night Attack.
Yeah.
Like, and so if like Callie's like, hey, you got off easy, kid. Like that was
I mean, they don't care. I mean, whatever.
no.
They don't seem
well,
to care.
I mean, I guess really the let me ask you this. How seriously is the concept of the dog's middle name?
oh no,
like,
I mean, not at
not.
all. I mean, it's like,
Right.
look,
So really
ultimately,
it's
the
just
dog's name is Joy, and that's it. You know,
Bonnie's annoyed that the bit is still going. that somebody is calling it Bryce Joyful Bryce federal agent.
Joyful
Sorry.
federal agent
Agent
Bryce
Bryce
Doug
Nesh-
Neshkop Castillo Brushwood.
Because that's something that I'm very familiar with. Is like I constantly annoy the shit out of Ashley just because I'll just keep going with a bit far longer than she enjoys it. And then let me know if you get this too with Bonnie. There comes a moment where like she's very annoyed. But that's when you have to keep pushing.
You have to
keep
get on the
pushing
other
the
side
bit.
of it.
You have to get on the other side of the bit because then you get the sweet nectar of like when you do the bit and now she is finding it funny, but she's like it's like 20% funny because it's kept going, but it's 80% annoyance. And so it's like there's the smile, the immediate suppression, and then the annoyance. And that is the pop and fizz that just refreshes my life.
Here's when I knew that that I made it over the hill is the moment Penny loved it. Like it's like I got one member on my team and that's all I need because Penny's gonna think it's hilarious. She's gonna memorize it. She's gonna say it, and it'll sound different coming from her 16-year-old daughter than from her 45-year-old husband.
Any cute puppy stories?
Yeah, she's really well behaved, and we're doing really good on following all the puppy raising rules and all that stuff. She just now is at there is a weird moment. I think we talked about this last week. Maybe we didn't because I picked her up on Friday. It's when you're rescuing a dog, you feel like you're rescuing, but when you take a dog,
oh no, yeah,
we did talk about that on
was,
Friday. Yeah, that was a bit of a weird moment. But she is happy as a clam. Could not be more thrilled, having a great time. And there was kind of a panicked moment where it was very clear once we brought her home that she liked to chew on soft things and not the one hard toy that we had. So it's like the moment we got home, Bonnie was like, all right, we're going to the pet store. It's across the street. Let's go. Go, go, go. Move. And then all of a sudden, a billion soft toys are around.
Yeah. That's great. I'm glad that she is just, I mean, about as chill as a puppy is going to be thus far.
Yeah, I think today was the first day that she was relaxed enough to just do the full-on layback, arms akimbo, all the belly scratches, puppy thing, and just be chill and get and let you do that. It was great. But she does need a bath.
Oh, she's stinking.
Yeah,
a little bit. So, where is what is the puppy schedule? How much is joyful federal agent Bryce Doug Neshcom Castillo Brushwood going to be a home dog versus studio dog?
We were just barely starting to talk about bringing her over to the studio to get used to being around other people, but the problem is this place is, I mean, there's a few wires that are just begging to be chewed on around here.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have to be a fully attended affair whenever she's out here. But
at least until she gets a little older and you can establish a little bit of like, nope, and then she's like, okay, I'm never gonna go there.
Yeah. But she's very comfortable meeting other people and very curious. It's funny because like she'll sort of run around and she'll just get wound up enough that she wants to start, chewing on things. And then there's a few like, no. And then like within 3 minutes of that moment, she's asleep. She's just like, and I'm out.
Oh, that's adorable. How is the initial meetings of her and the
Sneakers.
grand old master Sneakers?
I mean, we're keeping him short. I part of me wishes he could see her, but he's so blind. He's at least aware that there seems to be another animal around.
Yeah.
And so we're keeping the meetings short and sweet. I don't know how much longer we've got Sneakers, but then again, dude's outlived them all. He'd probably outlived me. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet against Sneakers. All I know is that dog is going to be around. He's like, oh, I'll be here. I don't know about you. I'll be here.
Wide-eyed and running into walls.
Yeah, it's like
What
I don't know
else?
what state I'll be in, but
yeah, no, it seems to be going really well, and the girls are all pitching in. I'll tell you what though, if I was gonna place a little side action bet, that dog seemed, I don't want to say she has a favorite, but she just instantly fell in love with Josie, and it's like the moment
really?
she's with Josie, she's cashed out and in the lap or whatever,
yeah.
which is nice.
Well, that's good. That's
yeah.
Because I do think that's, it has been a crazy year. I think the girls deserve,
something normal,
a good thing to happen.
Hey, I guess I only watched Bill and Ted over the weekend. I don't think we've talked about it on the show.
No.
It was just the right amount of what? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But Kristen Shaw was great, and the dynamic. They didn't overplay the older generation, younger generation bit, but it was, I don't know. The whole thing felt so loving and sweet and awesome. I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, I think that there was a joy to all of it, and like it got, when you think of the central thesis of Bill and Ted, it's misunderstood youth. Like Bill and Ted are looked at by society as like stoner wastrels, right? But the concept of the movie is, but what if they actually are the secret to society's greatest advancements, right? Like what if they are actually, Socrates or all these other people that they wind up finding? Like what if they are actually significant? How would society misunderstanding them look like? And we kind of get a lot of that, right? Except now it's not them as teenagers, it's them as older men, and it's their daughters that are now being cast down upon the same way that they were. If anything, the movie is kind of lacking for a real, like a strong antagonist. Like there's a lot of people that get in the way, but there's not
not a terrifying existential threat.
Yeah, either in the real world or in the fantasy world, where it's like, it was always their parents in the real world that were like, yeah, I'm going to ship you off to military school, or I'm going to do this. And like, because I think they make the wise decision to not make the princesses bad guys.
Right.
Like there's nobody that's really like, hey, get your shit together, or like your life is fucked, or like we're going to take away your kids, or we're going to do this, that, and the other.
There was also kind of an interesting decision to sort of like firmly and flatly state, don't worry about it, just have a good time. The sometimes, that little message of sometimes things don't make sense until the end or whatever. It really set your expectation of like, okay, so there's going to be a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense, and it's all going to make sense at the end. I'm in. Dennis Caleb McCoy. Hot damn. That's a character I never thought I'd see, and I really enjoyed it.
There's just And like, I don't know whether or not, even if I were being at my most cynical, if you can ding it for being like, oh, well, let's do death again. What would be this movie's version of death from Bogus
Death
Church?
as a Terminator.
Yeah. But they're not like, yes, they're similar in like, okay, do we have another against type, kind of guy? But it wasn't like, it's like, oh, what if the Grim Reaper was like, a misunderstood sweetheart? And it's like, well, what if the Terminator was just really awkward and like
super awkward?
He's just very awkward, and he just really kind of wants to be your friend. So it's like, as soon as he's done with his mission, he's just like, but anyway, guys, what are you doing? Like, you want to hang out?
Oh man.
But no, I think those were the biggest belly laughs I had aside from Bill and Ted was that. And then I just loved the fact that that Missy was married to somebody else.
Yeah, the third person.
The third person in the family. Like, is that like low key is one of the funniest things from the first movie, where it's like, oh, like we had a crush on Missy when we were freshmen, and now she's your mom. Like, and then, oh, now she's your mom, and no, now she's like our aunt or sister-in-law or whatever. Like,
I think that makes you your own dad. Yeah, no, I did like that. There could have been a real temptation to make it a real threat of them losing their wives, and I'm glad they soft pedaled that.
Or the daughters, right? Like you could see a version of it where it's like, no, now it's child services or something, like, or maybe you'd have to age down the daughters a little bit, but like there's some level of, hey, you're fucking up. But I kind of think like, and this might be the kind of hallmark of why Bill and Ted is different, is that it's like, no, but we don't want that. We don't want to walk into a story with Bill and Ted, who we love and like found love throughout time with the princesses, that we don't want to think that they're shitty dads. In fact, we want to think that they're like great dads, that they're awesome dads, that their daughters love them. And really the idea of the princesses, there's a story to kind of like their own marital thing, but like marriages having troubles doesn't make you a bad person, right? Doesn't make them bad. So I think if anything, that is the only thing that didn't really make it into this version of the story in a way that it did in the previous two, was like the societal pressure that like kids feel, that teenagers feel, that you feel in your teens or
they
your
managed
early 20s.
To, and here's the thing that I would bet there would be a temptation to make it a generational thing where it's like, oh, these Gen Z kids, I guess Gen Z is after millennials. Is that right? These Zoomers are constantly judging everything that comes before them, but instead, in the same spirit as Bill and Ted, are nothing but appreciative and joyful and wanting to experience life to the fullest and down for whatever, and full of optimism and joy, to bestow that gift in Zoomer form in the kids was another, like, that was another bullet dodged that I think made it a lot of fun, because you could tell like they're familiar with 1960s rock, but they're busy talking about what's great about it, and they have that same joyful federal agent Bryce Doug Neshcom Castillo Brushwood vibe.
It really, my one note is I could have gone for more. I just wanted in the first 10 minutes like an air guitar, and like the air guitar spot.
They give it to you.
They do it eventually.
They do it eventually. Yeah, they eventually give that to you.
And I guess I also
Although
should
that
crown myself
discussion-
king hypocrite because I also yell and scream whenever, like they show blue milk for 5 seconds and I'm actually just asking them, do the thing from the other movie. So you can call me a hypocrite for it. But I also just think that is one of those, like, it's so quick. It's like, it's one of those things that you just wish, like, Brian, if you and I could actually do that, we would do it every conversation, right?
It would be like if we had the power to make our eyes glow red. That would be our trick. We would be doing it constantly.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, I don't know if it would ever get old if we would just go like, excellent.
Yeah. That whole discussion about talking death back into the band, I thought could have been tedious, but really wasn't, and instead weirdly was heartfelt. Like you could tell he really loved his bass grooves and he really thought he was onto something.
I mean, I guess that's the thing, is that it's a story that loves its characters, and that comes through, and it's not cynical. It's adventurous. I mean, to be totally honest, it's like everything, and I've never actually like done research into it, but I presume that Doctor Who and Bill and Ted kind of share DNA. I don't know how much the original Bill and Ted story is inspired by Doctor Who.
You mean the time and space traveling phone booth looking thing and the silly over the top? Professor Sherlock. I don't know that this one is very difficult.
I presume that is that obviously there is shared DNA there, but it's kind of always what I've wanted. More of my favorite Doctor Who stories are like that, where it's like it's refreshing, it's not cynical, it's adventurous. You're always going to be thinking about, oh, what's the coolest thing that could happen, and that's why it's like Bogus Journey to me is just where that series takes this leap beyond, is when it's like, no, also we're about heaven and hell,
right?
Like, and it's like, oh my God, that's insane. Like, well, that's
that is
crazy.
To your point about whether or not there's the antagonist on this one is the literal destruction of the universe.
Yeah,
so
and that's more of a consequence than an antagonist, but certainly, yeah, that is what's motivating the story.
Yeah.
I guess the mom, Kristen Schall's mom, is like a bad guy up until the point that she realizes that her plan isn't going to work, and now they really need them.
Did you think it was the hologram of Rufus was gratuitous or poignant?
You just got to do it.
I liked it. I liked it.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I thought for what it was, it's like, look, he was such a huge part of the series, so it's like you have to, beyond just being like, I'm Rufus's daughter, and it's like, okay, well then, there we go. You have the Rufus moment. I thought it was fine. I mean, like, it would have been weirder to me if they had no mention of beyond like, I'm Rufus's daughter, and then you just never saw any like glimpse of Rufus.
Yeah,
like, that's a little lame.
Oh, yeah, Russell in the chat nails it. Jacked Bill and Ted in prison did crack me up. That was a great bit.
Well, yeah, just loser Bill and Ted. The fact that there's like these loser Bill and Teds that are
increasingly
just like mucking it up.
And then stealing, hiding out in Dave Grohl's place.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. And like, I think it, somebody said like Doctor Who takes it seriously and Bill and Ted doesn't, but I don't think so.
Not always.
I think Bill and Ted takes their story incredibly seriously. Like, I don't think that you can have a moment where literally like Bill and Ted are visiting themselves on their deathbeds and have it play as poignantly as it does and not like that's seriousness. Like that means that you've bought into these characters. It means that you care about it. It means that they care about each other. Like, yes, they're comedic characters. Obviously, they are kind of like lovable
cartoonish,
doofuses.
yeah.
But you love them. You want them to succeed. You want their families to succeed. Like that's craft.
And on paper, you know, the ending resolution, I guess we'll hold at least something back from this review. The ending resolution where they solved the thing, if you said it out loud and described it as the plot, I'd roll my eyes and all that stuff. But by that point, I mean, you know, I don't know. We've been to heaven and hell and the future and the past.
It's been a long
We're
road.
like, whatever.
Yeah.
We could all play in C major. That's fine.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I was fine. If anything, it's like, you know, and again, I don't say I really wish they would have done this because I wanted to see it done again, but rather because I trust that writing so well that I would love to see them try to take another spin on it. But I would have loved to have seen another version see them nail another version of the like, oh, like, well, that's when we survived this. We're going to go back and do this. And it's like, but I've gone back and I've blocked you from doing that.
The whole chess. I mean,
that's how they ended both other movies.
Yes.
So it's like,
yes.
you know,
but they didn't rely on that trick this time. Although the movie felt weirdly long, partly because
since Arrival already ripped it off and, you know, won a bunch of awards. The fact that Arrival took the Bill and Ted ending and everyone's like, what art? What art? Oh my God. No one's ever seen where I'm going to go back in time and teach myself a language like Bill and Ted.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been great. It would have been great if What's Her Butt from Arrival just was like at the end, like, I saved the world. Excellent.
All right. I think we're going to call it. So our review is it's excellent. Bill and Ted Face the Music. Worth do yourself a favor. Pay the $5 extra to own it because you'll probably want to watch it again.
Just look, especially in this year, like just unabashed ear to ear, like joy. It's great.
Yep. Agreed. All right. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow for Night Attack.
See you.
Happy hour. Night Attack's happy hour. Night Attack's happy hour. Dig.
Fanato.